Sly 2, Band of Thieves, an old school game with a new school flavor. This game is a PS2 classic from 2004 that was way before its time. That being said, it isn't necessarily a good thing that it was before its time, as new doesn't always mean better. Sly 2 takes an open world approach that the original didn't have, which I honestly miss here. In my opinion, what makes a 3D platformer great is its distinctive levels, much like the original Sly, the Crash Bandicoot, and the Jack games. What Sly Cooper did great in the original game is constantly bring fresh but linear levels. Linearity is what makes platformers great. I want a set path of obstacles and enemies to overcome. I don't want a boring and colorless open world. Sure, give me an open world if you have to, but make it a hub with portals instead. I want my levels sectioned off. Sadly here, in Sly 2, these open worlds are the levels. The platforming in this 3D platformer was thrown away here. It isn't primarily a 3D platformer game though. This is also a stealth game, an aspect I was also pretty disappointed with. Stealth isn't an excuse to drop the linearity, as the original Sly did a great job mixing the platforming and stealth in linear levels. But I still can't help but smile when I take a trip back in time and see the influence older games had on some of my now favorites. I couldn't help but to think of Assassin's Creed as I was pickpocketing, tailing targets while remaining undetected, getting stealth kills, and walking on the rooftops in light cables. This is still a great game though. Before you do a heist, Bentley gives a layout of what you're going to do and why you're going to do it. All three characters are playable with their own character-specific missions. Sly Cooper for the thieving and sneaking, Bentley for the puzzles, and Murray for the heavy lifting. Each character is limited based on specialty, making them all actually feel different and useful, but at the same time that limited skill set makes playing as the other two characters feel like a burden. And as far as modern day expectations go, this game feels all too repetitive. It's constantly take pictures, steal this, pickpocket, do a shooter minigame. Even changing between the three characters is nothing but add annoyances to the slower paced travel to do the same thing you just did as Sly, but this time you have sleep darts and can't climb things. I looked back at reviews for this game and can't really grasp the praise. I felt as if I was forcing my way through. I loved the first half of episode 1, but after that, it started to feel like a grind, an up and down of boredom and frustration, which I completely understand. This is the era where frustration was the primary idea of fun. Challenge was the definition of a good game. I'm just happy that it's changed. It is still a great game though, with many missions leaving no room for error. Sure, this was a great game for its time, but please keep in mind I'm not reviewing this game for its time. I'm reviewing the game for my time, for the now. At its release, I can't argue it's lower than mid-9s out of 10, as 3D platforming standards weren't set as high as they are now. But today, it falls a bit short of that greatness, especially now that I know how great a 3D platformer can be. For what it is as a platformer, 7 out of 10. As a stealth game, an easy 8 out of 10. But overall, 7.5 out of 10. This game is still worth your time though, if not for the nostalgia, platforming, or sneaking. At least the story is still great. What did you guys think of Sly 2? Have you played it recently? I want to know your recent thoughts of Sly 2, not the thoughts you had back when you're 9 years old booting it up for the first time, because of course our first experience with the game as soon as it comes out is going to be great because that's the current standard for the time. As time changes, our opinions on games will change. I want to know what your current thoughts are. I know a lot of you aren't going to like the score I gave Sly 2 because it was a brilliant game at its time. And 7.5 is still a great score. What did you guys think? Subscribe if you're new to the channel. And tune in Monday for Mystery Box Monday, where you find out what game we're playing next. And thanks for watching.
Hold on, pal. This could get rough.